Hi everybody, it's December 8th, 2025. The concept of reading between the lines is very crucial for this day and age, or as you get to be an adult. And I think it's kind of a declining atmosphere of honor when people can't say exactly what they mean straight out. If you rely too much on reading between the lines and speaking between the lines, even though you may know the truth, your grasp on the truth may start to slip, and certain obstructions to the truth may start to take hold as the truth for you, even though the main part of you knows it's not truth. So, as an adult, there are many circumstances or situations where you can't speak outright because doing so would be rude or it gets people off kilter, it gets people off balance if you speak the truth directly. And the problem with this is that the people that have good in their heart are more accommodating, so they'll be more likely to read in between the lines and speak in between the lines. And nowadays, the people that are corrupt in heart, are hard in heart, are cruel, they take the moral high ground compared to those nicer people because they are speaking their truth and they're speaking it bluntly and outright and not reading or speaking between the lines. And so some people who are innocent or naive may take the people that speak bluntly and speak openly instead of being suggestive. They take those people as being morally upright when lots of those people are just speaking hate speech, but they're speaking it from their own perspective of honesty, and that confuses people and gives them credibility because they're speaking unobstructedly. So this gets me to thinking about my subject today, which is spiritual modifiers. To tag onto that last thought, it is sad that strong people, many strong men and some strong women, most of their thrust is based on good. But the spiritual modifier is that to get to that next level of strength, they allow some corruption to seep into their internal zeitgeist and their internal morality code. And so they get stronger by adopting a stance of truth, but they allow the corruption because they can't take being a good person and the amount of strength to be a completely good person is too much for them to bear. So they allow corruption into their speech, into their mind, into their heart in order to maintain that strength. So an example of this would be someone who acknowledges that there is God and God is almighty and all that stuff, and they credit God to giving them the strength, but there are certain weaknesses they have that they can't quantify, they can't calculate, they can't measure. There's some weaknesses in them that would drag down the whole ship if they don't allow corruption to come in. So they allow certain hateful thoughts to come into their creed. They allow certain hatred towards people, different sorts of people, or whatever it is. They allow some darkness to come in to maintain that strength that they mostly got from believing in something good, and it corrupts their entire moral code, but they remain strong because of that spiritual modifier. And the way to get around that is just to be patient. If you want to be strong, if you want to be brave, if you want to exude confidence in the Father, Son, Holy Spirit without allowing any corruption in, and you want to speak the truth, just be patient. Get stronger day by day to uphold your moral code without allowing any exceptions, without allowing any lies, without allowing any hate. It may take time and it may be painful, but if you stay completely strong and completely goodwill in the nature of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the prize that you get for that will be a great experience of life and a very learned experience for life. Another spiritual modifier is giving. Some people give and give and give, and they seem like they are the most kindest people, the most patient, understanding people. They give their heart, they give to their heart's, they give more than their heart's content. And what happens with them many times is that even though they give out of their heart, out of the goodness of their heart, some things creep in and they require a sort of a distortion of character. This could come in the form of demanding something back from the people they give. This would come in the form of singling out someone that they do not want to give to, and they give to everybody else, making that one person they don't want to give to feel even worse about themselves. So there are many spiritual modifiers that come with people that are giving, but they have to, if they want to be that giver, if they want to be that unconditional giver, it just takes a sacrifice of self, and that was the whole point to begin with. If you want to be a giver, the giving isn't the actual goodness of the act. The sacrifice of comfort, the sacrifice of being peaceful of mind, the sacrifice of cutting off your prejudice, that's what really makes giving godly. That's what makes giving a spiritual act. So the modifier that needs to be cut off is the prejudice, the expecting things back, the judgment when you give. Another spiritual modifier that I could think of is draconian adoption of doctrine. When people talk about Christianity and they portend to be people of wisdom, people of intelligence, people of discernment, when they talk about Christianity and they talk about contradictions and they talk about falsities and they talk about lies, these people, their spiritual modifier is attached to their intellect, and so they will condemn Christianity by saying the Bible contradicts itself in thousands or hundreds of places, and they'll say that their religion doesn't, or their text doesn't. And the answer I have to this is that yes, the text is holy and it should be held up to higher standards, but we must remember that humans are denoted in the same holy book to be flawed, and even if the book is holy, it was still written by men who have flaws. And if you are a man, if you are a human in today's age, you contradict yourself just walking down the street. You contradict yourself every time you speak to somebody else. You contradict yourself compared to your childhood, compared to your adulthood. Does that mean that you are not true, that you are not living, that you are not correct in your assertions that you have proven? No, we all contradict ourselves. And to point out contradictions in Christianity and in the holy text, that's just pointing out that humans were involved. It's not pointing out in the wrongness or whatever they're implying about Christianity. So a way to get around worrying about contradictions of the holy book, of the holy Bible, or Christianity in general, is just remember what Jesus said, is that it is not our deeds that are holy. It is not what connects us to God that's holy. It's our heart. If you give your heart to Jesus, it doesn't matter if you are flawed, if you are contradictory. If you give your heart to Jesus, you will be saved. So I hope this helps. Thanks.